they've been playing in since they've quote unquote reformed. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they can do against Quantum here, who we know is already a very strong team.
Yeah, and what better map to do that on than Blackbelly Rainmaker? We're going to be starting off Rising Moon with the double blaster comp, actually. Does actually make a lot of sense on this map. As I was saying in the last set, the blasters are very, very strong here. Meanwhile, on Quantum going for the fast pop. Unfortunately, it looks as though they missed a couple of their bombs. And we've got the Lunar Blaster coming out here with the Octobrush and a Splash Shot and N-Zap, so an armor comp from Quantum.
Yeah, Quantum looks like they're just gonna be trying to use these blasters sorry, not these blasters. They've got the Luna Blaster. They've got the. Actually, now that I look at it, that is an entirely short-range comp. So they're gonna be probably having some range issues trying to deal with that range blaster as well as the rapid blaster. It's kind of weird because these short-range comps are very good at dealing with momentum. And let me talk about that later. Rising Moon right now is looking very strong. They've got this push all the way up to 12 points. This is less than a minute into the game. And that comp seems to be working out for them. That range is letting them find those picks. They can find those easy kills. They can pop the Rainmaker, and they can just kind of push it. And it doesn't really matter if you die on Blackbelly Rainmaker. It's such a short distance towards that pedestal that as long as you can get 2 players to grab it and move in some distance, you're going to be having a very nice lead at 12 points. So it's going to be interesting to see what Quantum can do to get back from this, as they don't even have any points on the board yet.
Yeah, and it looks as though, even with the range disadvantage, it looks as though Rising Moon's doing a really good job of just getting turf control happening here. It seems like, you mentioned the Rapid Blaster being difficult to deal with, and the Range Blaster as well. Those weapons thrive on being able to basically just walk away from people, especially the Rapid Blaster, which, because it recovers so quickly from taking a shot, it's so easy to just basically swim backwards as long as you've got any kind of turf control. And you can kind of see, like, as we see Quantum actually moving in here, the Rapid Blaster is able to basically post up wherever it feels like it and just get hits on people, which is perfect.
That was an interesting exchange. Keep going.
That was a lot of splashdowns. But it's a perfect complement to things like the Roller, where the Roller's going to be getting a lot of, like, high damage but not necessarily insta-kill flicks onto people. So it's just a really good setup that they've got going here.
All right, so right now, Rising Moon is, I don't know, it's weird because Blackbelly Rainmaker is an interesting map where you're never really safe. Like, they have a 12-point push, but you're never really safe to hold a lead in this match. Like, the game's not over until it's not safe until you knock it out. Basically, there's no safe lead because a knockout can happen so quick that you never really want to just sit back and play defense unless there's like maybe 20 seconds left in the game. So right now, Rising Moon is still looking to play aggressive. They're trying to use these specials to find some picks, and they're going to grab that Rainmaker and push it if they can. But they have a lot more slack on the stick. They don't need to be trying their hearts out like Quantum does right now. As Quantum needs to find every opportunity they can to push that Rainmaker up and try and get some points.
Yeah, and you can kind of see here what's happening with Quantum is they seem to. I think at the start of the game they were kind of caught off a little bit. They seem to. I think Rising Moon kind of rushed them a little bit harder than they were expecting, and they kind of crumbled a little bit. And you can kind of see they've kind of got their footing back here. And Quantum now with the 3v1 situation right now, the splatter shot's in a defensive position. That can they actually stop this push?
Oh wow, he actually gets the pick on the Rainmaker. If the Rainmaker did not die there, that could have been the lead for Quantum. It was that close.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the quick knockouts here, and I want to say while Quantum's push is petering out here, the main change on this map, aside from all the terrain stuff, is that the pedestal's actually been moved sort of further to the right out of spawn, which means you actually do need to go like across the enemy team's spawn in order to knock it out. And a 12-point push is still like basically right next to the pedestal. You could actually see earlier when Rising Moon got that push that I think it was Binks was basically like almost standing on the pedestal,
yeah, he was
and that was still only 12 points. So yeah, it's basically a knockout, but it's not quite as I guess volatile as the old Blackbelly. Like you still actually need to push through.
Whoa, what? That was a double kill with the Rainmaker, like in very quick succession. That was insane. Ross able to find the pick on the Rainmaker there. He's going to be just kind of cleaning up. And Quantum right now.
Speaking of double,
in this match?
This could be something here because I don't think the Range Blaster is in a good position to defend against this.
They seem to go. I think they're making a mistake here. When they can find those 2 quick picks like that, they just need to go. And right now, they're not doing that. They're trying to wait for the reset. They want to win another team fight. And I don't know. When the Ink Brush has the Rainmaker, that's probably not what you want to do. But they're going to do what they can here. There's 14 seconds left. They're going to need the overtime. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I entirely agree with their decision making here. Oh, wait. Were they faking the left to try and push right? No, the Rapid Blaster is going to be there to stop that. And Ross is in some trouble right now. He's got, like, no health.
Oh, the Rapid Blaster is down. There are 3 specials here. There are 3 specials
really
here for
dangerous for Quantum right now.
Yeah, I can't say I'm very optimistic. Though, well, I say that, but
Inkstorm's going to be huge. Inkstorm's going to end it. Yeah,
Ross
okay.
is screwed. I think you kind of ran out of time there. You were saying before about how they should have just grabbed the Rainmaker and gone. I think the issue there was more that they were still kind of recovering from the push. Like, they still had 2 people down, and they kind of accidentally got the double kill. They weren't really ready to leap off the back of that, and as a result, there wasn't any paint ready to go. Ross kind of moved out into mid and found a sea of purple in front of his face, which is never appealing when you're trying to take the Rainmaker for a last-minute push. So, yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily fault him for it, but at the same time, it's a bit unfortunate when, like, you've got the ink brush, sorry, the Octobrush there with the inkjet ready to go, the perfect weapon to, you know, start to get that sort of second team fight going that they would have needed to actually push. But you know. I think the story of that game though was I think Quantum came out of the gate a little bit slow. I think Rising Moon caught them off. I don't think Quantum was quite ready for the aggression that Rising Moon came out with. Like, you could see a couple of times there that they were kind of getting, like, when they were pushing, they were kind of getting trapped in their own spawn a little bit. So we'll have to. I think they've kind of got their act together now, and as we move into splat zones on Humpback Pump Track, we'll have to see whether or not that can cause a comeback for Quantum.
Yes, Quantum is down a game right now. This is currently 1-0 for Rising Moon. Quantum looking to take it back on Humpback Pump Track splat zones as they move in with a very interesting comp. They got a Luna Blaster, 2 Splatter Shots, and a Firefin Splat Charger. I like this. They've got the Baller, they've got the 2 Splashdowns. That is a very good comp for this map, I'd have to say. Meanwhile, on their side of things, there is a custom Jet Squelcher coming out on the side of Rising Moon right now, which is a really weird weapon in Splatoon meta right now. It has a Stingray, and everybody knows that the Stingray is amazing. A lot of players don't really like the main weapon, but I think just having the pressure from the burst bombs, the pressure from just being able to shoot at people from such a long range, as well as having that Stingray, just make it kind of like a really niche pick in the meta right now. But a lot of players are using it. It's interesting.
Yeah, so we see the Firefin coming out and doing what it does on this map, which is throw suction bombs every 30 seconds or so at the zone. We've got Quantum does have all 4 up. It is a 4v4 at the moment. No one's really going down at this point. Well, as I say that, the Charger goes down, and now the Stingray coming in from Extermination, and this is a really good push right here.
Okay, so yeah, no, Rising Moon right now, it looks like they've kind of got a little bit of momentum going. They found that first pick. They were able to move their blaster as well as their Jet Squelcher up onto the zone. And once they're here, it's going to be difficult for Quantum to be able to push back in. Rising Moon has such a good defensive comp with the Jet Squelcher and the Rapid Blaster, and they have that roller running around just doing the roller things.
Unfortunately for Rising Moon, though, Quantum has a way of basically painting half the map in about a tenth of a second. So that is pretty much instantly turned the game on its head. We've got Binks over here with the custom jet. He's currently trying to... And that's the issue with the custom jet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you've got the range, but you've also got to kill things occasionally, and the custom jet is a little bit slow at doing that.
It's very slow.
Yeah,
when you've got
especially when it's in that kind of situation where it's getting rushed.
There's not really much you can do.
Nowhere to go.
Against any good player, like, you're just not going to win that fight.
Yeah. And, we've got the Suction Rush coming out here from the Firefin. Ross trying to keep Rising Moon locked in their base. Well, that would have been really useful on the last minute defense, but it looks as though it doesn't matter. It looks as though there's going to be, convincing win there for Quantum. Really good bounce back there. Like I was saying before, I think Quantum's got their act together. That they're hitting their stride, and there was some really solid pushbacks. We've got Corgo here with the seven kills on the Lunar Blaster, and everyone else on the server seems to have kind of gone missing a little bit. But anyway, yeah, Quantum with the equalizer. So moving on to tower control and port mackerel.
Yeah, it was convincing too. It wasn't like the first game where Quantum kind of struggled to make an impact. It was kind of just like, they didn't really have the best first team fight, but once they had control of that mid, they just didn't let go of it. They got that kind of early knockout. It was like just over halfway into the game, I believe. And once they had that control, they were able to keep it. And I think on a map like tower control port mackerel, I think it's going to be a similar story for Quantum. If they can push into the middle and they can completely hold, like, there's just at least just the middle of the map, maybe even the enemy's courtyard, it's going to be pretty much game over, I think, for Rising Moon.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite kind of control as Pump Track, where Pump Track is like a bunch of really open spaces. So once you got the turf control there, it's like really easy to see people coming. Whereas on Port Mackerel, it's more about holding the angles and understanding like where the enemy team can come from and sort of locking them out as they try to make things happen. And as you say, the courtyard control is going to be the main deciding factor here. Once a team gets set up in the courtyard, it basically opens up the entire enemy team's base for them, because they can use the sponge to take the middle path. They can use the tower to take the left path through to the enemy team spawn.
I'm gonna interrupt you for a second just before this game starts. I want your prediction on how many Stingrays we're gonna see.
3, I want to say.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm saying 4. 2 on each team. That's my spread. Okay, you can keep going.
Right. And, well, I was about to actually mention the Stingrays. So the Stingrays are the other big thing, where you've got...
Just 2.
There it is, 3.
Yeah, you got it, 3, yeah.
So the sloshing machine is like the poster child of this map almost, where you've got the Stingray and you've got the AoE that hits around corners. It's like, and you've got the Autobomb to like chase people down and get stuck on walls, so that like about 5, like this army of chickens just eventually builds up and starts rushing people down. As I said that though, Rising Moon is taking the tower here. They've got a man down, so they're probably not going to be able to have much of this. But they sort of started things off a little bit. This splashdown here from Sabo is enough to... Okay, whoops, so much for one down. Now they've got a really good advantage.
Sabu's play there was incredible. It's like my policy that I always try and hammer into people, and I wish people who don't play the game competitively would hear this and try and like listen to what I'm saying. When there's someone on Port Mackerel shooting you with a Stingray, you do not back up. You need to push them and you need to take them out. If you back up, you're doing exactly what you want them to do and you're going to die. It's all about being able to push up onto the Stingray and take it on. And Rising Moon, this is a total 180 from last game. These guys, wow, what a shot! These guys are doing a total 180 right now, and they are completely holding control here. And they're watching the flanks. Oh, actually, no, it looks like...
Looks like this push is going to be taken...
This is huge. This splatter shot, if he can stay alive and find the pick on the sloshing machine, that's going to be really big. It's going to open up the map for his team to be able to get back out. But no, Binks doing a fantastic job staying alive. The Stingray's up. He's got to worry about that now. And yeah, Stingray's doing the Stingray thing. Okay, so Rising Moon with a really good starting push, down to 24 points just over a minute and a half into the game. That's fantastic. This is a good position to be in against a team like this. That's a very big buffer.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that Biggs got stung there, but at the same time, like, you can kind of see what Quantum's trying to do here on the overhead cam. They've already started pushing up their right-hand side of the map, and they're trying to get control of the courtyard for a fast sort of pivot. And you can see Rising Moon is doing a pretty good job of fending them off too. They're sort of moving backwards to sort of catch people as they slip through, and then sort of surrounding them for like a 2v1 kind of thing. And because they've done that, now they've got another setup on the tower because Quantum never quite got their courtyard back. So Quantum going 2 down, 3 down in
4
fact.
down now.
We've got...
You go.
Specials. Sorry. I was sort of a bit dumbfounded there. We've got specials coming in from... still plenty more in the tank there for Rising Moon push. They should be able to clear this checkpoint if they play their cards right. 4v2 situation with a splashdown on deck. Now a Stingray as well. We should be seeing that.
It's crazy right now.
Well, they don't even need it.
Knockout. That was such a good push. I think they only dropped 1 player and they were able to just jump back free. That was huge. Rising Moon was a very, very strong push there. That was I didn't expect to see that clean of a push after how much they struggled on Humpback Pump Track.
No, that was really, really well played there from Rising Moon. You could kind of see what Quantum was going for there with the... Wait, they had card Pogo on... Why would they do that? That's a bit strange. I would have thought that they would want the Luna Blaster on TC Mackerel. Anyway, regardless, so you could see that like Quantum knew what they had to do to win, and they almost did it. Like they started pushing in super hard from one side, like they focused one side of the map, they tried to take court control, but Rising Moon was right there with the defense. They had the rollers, the Sabu on the roller backing up with support from one of his teammates every time, just catching people as they rushed, and because Quantum couldn't ever really establish a control of their own courtyard, Rising Moon was able to just turn straight back around and push for a clean knockout. They didn't even need to use specials. Like that's the key thing. I was talking about this on Kelp Dome in the last set. Rising Moon didn't have to use specials to get the tower back into the courtyard, which meant that their push was all the stronger into spawn. Like they had the Stingray ready to go. They had another one charged up by the time the checkpoint was cleared, and it was super easy for them to hammer it home.
We're moving on to Rainmaker Mori Towers, and with how these teams have been playing, I honestly can't make a prediction here. I don't think I can figure out which of these teams is going to be stronger. We've seen both teams have very, very good team fights, and Mori Towers is more or less completely about team fights, especially in Rainmaker. I think it might be down to like a Charger kind of deal here. If the Charger your team, go ahead.
I want to say Rising Moon for the advantage here, because we've seen that Quantum's a little bit slow out of the gate in all of these games, in fact. And the way that you win this is a bit of an awkward team comp for it, but the way that you win this is you basically rush the enemy teams a plat before they can really get established. And if you can do that, you can get a really solid push going. Like I said, Rising Moon kind of doesn't have the comp for it. The Jet Scorcher and Rapid is a little bit too slow for that, but you can actually see they've got 3 people stacked up on the right side of the map here for Rising Moon. And again, the early kills from Rising Moon, and you can see that they're starting to push up. We've already got the CGS moving up into the the old zone area. And meanwhile, you've got Sabu coming in from the right-hand side. So this is a really solid setup here from Rising Moon. This might be quicker. This might be quicker than Tower Control Port Mackerel at the rate this is going. There's 2 more down now. He's in the incline. Somehow didn't make it away from the blaster. I thought for sure that they were going to be fine there. Okay, so no, Quantum able to do a good job resetting this push. And despite being down to an 18-point push, they need to make it to 17. There's less than a minute into the game. Despite this huge disadvantage, they were able to stop that push, and they're going to be doing what they can to actually see if they can be back in this game. And in this set, too, if Rising Moon wins this, they take the set, and Quantum's moving down to the loser's bracket to face Team Olive. Yeah, so Quantum's super short-range comp here is actually paying off for them, though. They do have an opportunity here. The Stingray is available for the custom Jet Scorcher, but the custom Jet Scorcher would be kind of leaving himself exposed if he uses it. And we can actually see Kyle's moving up with the Vanilla Blaster coming in here. Let's see.
Oh, no way. Are they going to do this?
1 point. 1 point, but they do still have the setup here, I think. Oh, wait, no, never mind. They're all dead. Okay, that was very close, though, but it's the kind of push where Quantum can easily do the same thing again. They had a pretty standard kind of pick right there where they got like 2 people down, and then they just catapulted themselves into Rising Moon's base. At the moment, Rising Moon does have a numbers advantage, so they aren't going to be... Quantum's going to have to hold on yet again, but at the same time, this isn't tower control, so the pushes aren't easier the second time around.
I'd just like to correct myself from earlier. The loser of this set is going to be going on to face Saikai in the loser's quarterfinal. So just a quick correction there. But right now, it's really interesting. Quantum, they didn't get that good early push. Rising Moon got a really, really fast early push, and they were able to make it down to 18 points. And Quantum had a really good push as well. Unfortunately, not able to get the lead. It was so close, but they're looking to do it again. They're actually in a pretty okay spot. As they say, that the blaster drops. They're working with a little bit of momentum against them right now. Quantum had the ability to do it. They got those picks. They moved up, and I want to see them do it again because I think they have it in them.
Yeah, and again, like you can really see here. I don't know if it's Rising Moon playing defensively or what, but Quantum always stabilizes after the first like 30 seconds or so. Every single one of these games has been like heavily in Rising Moon's favor, and then Quantum stabilizes. And so Quantum does have quite a lot of time to work with. They've got 2 whole minutes where they can make something happen. There's no specials on either side at the moment, but at the same... Oh, never mind. That's a big double kill coming in for Rising Moon. They've got... Oh, the Rapid Blaster goes down a little bit overextended there. Rising Moon trying to make something happen here. I think they're going to just sort of back off a little bit. They don't need to really make anything happen at the moment. And yeah, the zipline getting Binks back to safety. He's going to pull back to his zone and try not to... Oh, he's... Okay, he's committing Sudoku, as you do, I guess. Okay, so we've got Kagu moving in. And he does get the kill on Sabu. That's going to be pretty big here, because Sabu is one of the main ways that Rising Moon tends to stop the Rainmaker, because he's sort of just an insta-kill thing. Like, if he gets in, he's got the kill, right? So, Quantum making the best out of it. Are they going to be able to get up the zipline? They're trying. You can see that they're trying to.
This is huge. They need to be painting up that wall, because all they got to do is swim it up to the top of
tagged.
that wall. That's going to be the lead. Oh, and there it is! He jumped from the incline to the other incline. That was huge. It's going to grab them the lead. There's a minute left in the game, and now Rising Moon, I don't think they expected that to happen so quick. They thought for a second that they were safe, and then literally 2 seconds later, they lost that lead. Quantum's not done yet. They're going to keep that Rainmaker going, but it looks like Rising Moon's able to do a good job resetting this yet again. And wow, that's actually rough. There's 40 seconds left. They got to push all the way to the opponent's pretty much the pedestal, down to 7 points. That's touching the pedestal. So they're going to have some work to do, but no, Quantum right now in a really good position to take this one to Game 5.
Yeah, you can see what I was talking about before, how Quantum is stabilized, they've got their act together, and they've got the setups going, and it was only a matter of time until they got another opportunity, and they made full use of it this time. This time, the zipline, the crossing zipline, the one that they ride to get the points, wasn't in their color, but it was timing out, and they managed to tag it just in time. Now Binks is in a really desperate situation here. He's not only is he completely stuck in his own side of the map, but he's only got 30 seconds to make anything happen. He's got to, in the next 30 seconds, make it to the enemy team's pedestal. Can he do anything about this?
I mean, his team's trying to make it happen. There was a flank behind him, and no, it looks like they're going to get taken out, so Binks is going to fall to the splatter shot, and now Quantum is going to be taking this one to Game 5. It is 2-2. They're taking that win on Amori Towers with a brilliant push using the inclines, and now we're going to be moving on to Game 5.
Yeah, and you can kind of see, so, again, Rising Moon, very fast out of the gate. They make a really, really good early push. But the problem is, the longer range team comps on Moray Towers, even with the Charger and whatnot, as you quite often see in other games, the longer range comps on Moray Towers are very fragile, because once a long range weapon is out of mid, like when they're no longer shooting into mid, they start to have a lot of troubles, because it becomes a lot easier for short range weapons to like climb the walls, to shark them, to sort of set up in ranges that are awkward for the long ranges. And that is why Quantum was able to repeatedly, after they'd stabilized, get in to Rising Moon's base so quickly and make something of it. And now we see on Splat Zones on the Reef, this is, again, incredibly good for the short-range comps that Quantum seems to be running at the moment. If they can make sure that they don't get locked into their base early on, I think they have a really good chance of taking this Game 5.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an interesting battle. It's Splat Zones on the Reef. Splat Zones on the Reef is all about that platform control, similar to like Inkblot Art Academy, I guess. Especially when you have teams like this that like to run those blasters. It's all about having map control, giving map control to your blasters so they can move up to the platform while you hold the zone, and they can just shark it and make it really, really difficult for the opposing team to actually push in. The thing about the Reef is that you have so many ways to actually make it out of your spawn, so many very safe ways to actually do that. And it's all about just the call-outs. It's about team coordination, and about it's just about your ability to actually find people and pick them off as they're moving, if you want that easy knockout. But no, for the most part, the Reef is going to have a lot of back-and-forth fights. It's not very often that you see the super quick knockouts on this map.
Yeah, and we see actually the 96 gal coming out from Binks here, while the heavy Splatling's coming out for Quantum. Well, having the long-range anchor on this map is really important as a way of like keeping control of your own tree area, and also as something that you can post up on top mid. You can see Ross at the moment just basically making sure that Quantum doesn't get sneakier on the tree area of his side of the map. And actually the paint control for Rising Moon is quite good here. Looks as though the Rapid Blaster is going to be able to take the zone, at least temporarily, and force a penalty on Quantum.
Yeah, so Rising Moon right now, this is interesting because Quantum got control of the zone there, but they didn't really have map control aside from that. So Rising Moon was just kind of able to push in and get like probably the cleanest 4-down full team wipe that I've ever seen in Splatoon 2's life. And because of that now, Rising Moon's looking strong. They're going to grab the lead here. Quantum's got to do a lot of work, but Sabo is in a really good position there. They're going to find the pick on Kagu, and they're looking to make it some more. The thing about the roller when they have map control is that like it's so dangerous to move anywhere that is not in your team's ink because the roller could be hiding anywhere. The thing about how the rollers play in these games, that was a very interesting flick during this.
That was a very interesting splash.
Thank you, Splatoon. Thank you, Nintendo. The thing about rollers at this high of a level is that anywhere that there's enemy ink, the roller could be there, and it's like nowhere safe. You need to make sure you are painting thoroughly if you don't want to get taken out.
That said, Saber's in a bit of trouble here. He does get taken out by the heavy splatling after he'd run out of ink about 5 times in one fight. Ross now moving onto the platform. So what I think made Quantum a little bit fragile in the previous fight was they never really took control of their own side of the map. So it meant that when Rising Moon pushed in, it made it a lot harder for them for Quantum to retreat. And we can see that in this case it's a little bit more the double splash.
I think that was just a lack of communication there. I don't think they actually meant to do that.
Oh, it works out in the end, and it does actually paint a little bit more thoroughly as well, so it's not, we can't really fault them too badly. The heavy splatling here getting pushed in by Sabu, though Sabu's kind of got troubles of his own with these burst bombs coming in. Yeah, he does get taken out. So the penalty ticking down here, probably going to be the lead for Rising Moon, but it won't be much of one. Yeah, and we see it goes down to 40.
Yeah, they were trying to paint the zone there so that they didn't get the lead, but they didn't do it quite in time. They were able to capture the zone. It's going to be a 30-point penalty they got to deal with, and then they're going to be working with the lead here. But they're actually looking really strong, and I think it might happen. That was 3 down on the side of Rising Moon, so Quantum's going to be setting up these sharks. It's kind of a reverse game from what we saw before. Quantum's in the driver's seat right now. They're looking to make this happen.
Yeah, you can kind of see at the end of that retake there, Rising Moon was a little bit slow to back off, and they had a couple of people get kind of caught out in the middle of nowhere. This bomb rush though from Rising Moon is getting things done though, but the heavy splatling, the hard flank heavy splatling.
This is crazy. He's got the bubbles coming on. He's rolling with the momentum. He's going to keep that zone secured. So they did grab the lead. The penalty was refreshed, but they don't care. I think they're happy right now. There's a minute and a half left in this game. They got the lead, and they don't really have too much in terms of map control, but I think they have enough to be able to deal with Rising Moon right now. As the roller does go down, that's going to be huge. That's going to open up a lot of their aggression. And now it's up to Quantum. They got to find these more picks. There's the splashdown going in, and as long as they can just kind of stall out Rising Moon to make it more and more difficult for them to get to the zone right now, they're going to be able to take this game.
Okay, fake GDP shouldn't be alive right now, but he does manage to get out, and now he's actually setting up for what is probably going to be a flank coming in against these 2 players we're watching right now. We've got bubbles on the zone, in fact, which should... It does, in fact, secure the zone yet again, so they're still ticking. This is not penalty, this is still ticking down. They don't seem to have any kind of way of repainting the map right now. The blasters are moving in.
Yeah,
Kagu does get taken out, though.
They won the team fight. They had the ability to paint the zone, but they just didn't do it. And now Quantum, I don't even think they expected that to happen. But no, Quantum, there you go. That's going to be their Game 5 victory and the set over Rising Moon. So Quantum now is going to be moving forward. Very interesting ending to that game. But no, Quantum's going to be moving forward to play the winner of the next set that we're going to be watching. Rising Moon's going to fall into the losers bracket to face Saikai, which I'm sure we'll be watching that just after this. I'm pretty sure if I have the stream schedule correct. But no, that was fantastic. Both of those teams played good. A little bit of interesting stuff going on in some of those games. But no, for the most part, I think Quantum they found themselves in a little bit better situations more than Rising Moon did. It was kind of one of those matchups where it didn't always go as planned for both teams ever. And it was just kind of a matter of like how many times can you make a bad situation into a good one? And it was Quantum that was able to do that just a little bit more than Rising Moon. I think that's what won them the set.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see at the very end there, I think what happened was because like they did win the team fight, they didn't sort of win it convincingly. They didn't have specials or anything to follow through. So they were kind of left with like a rapid blaster to try and paint the zone, which isn't the most ideal of painting weapons. But nonetheless, it seems as though Quantum's here to play. They're in winners finals. I mean, this is a team that's like we talked about Legacy leveling up their game in the last couple of months. Quantum's done the same thing and then some. So we'll have to see how well they do against another European team, because we are going to have a European team in winners finals between Ethereal and Illuminate.
Yeah, that's